leg of the Triple Crown, and the 2-year-old champion takes the crown, giving Brad Cox his first win in a Classic, as well as Luis Saez was DQ'd out of a Kentucky Derby win a couple of years ago. Our program is brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports 2. We're going to take a look back at everything that happened in this third and final leg of the Triple Crown. What a showdown it was, and a tremendous stretch duel between Hot Rod Charlie and Essential Quality. With me to talk us through it all, and we still have 2 races to come here on this Belmont Stakes card. New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. What a thrill we got in that stretch.
I got to tell you, that was one of the more thrilling Belmont Stakes I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of good Belmont Stakes going back to Seattle Slew, my first Belmont Stakes live. And Essential Quality, he got it done, and he was terrific in doing it in a very fast final time of 2:27.11. Hot Rod Charlie, you can't say enough about his performance in defeat, almost surviving a wicked, torrid pace that took a huge toll on anyone that was close early. He was a hard luck loser. Essential Quality, he ran terrific. Hot Rod Charlie, he gains in defeat as well. A great horse race.
Those two put themselves in the mix.
Bring on the Travers.
Major contenders going forward. And the 2-year-old champ right back in the picture for divisional honors now as a 3-year-old.
Absolutely, and I think it sets up some exciting matchups. And I mean, we got other good racing coming up here at Belmont Park. We're here for another 5 or 6 weeks. We head to Saratoga. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the idea of a matchup between Hot Rod Charlie and Essential Quality and the Travers is enough to get any racing fan excited.
It's been a tough afternoon for Joel Rosario. Jackie's Warrior earlier. We're going to look back at the Woody Stevens. Did not break sharp. Cost him likely in that race. Rock Your World didn't break all that sharp in this race here. He looked to be the lone speed. Here were the final odds everyone went off at.
No question about it. Rock Your World broke about a length slow in this race, and when you've got that kind of speed, I mean, they were absolutely flying. 22-3 to the first quarter, 46-2 to the half. Wow.
The 7, Rock Your World, the one everybody expected to be in front, as you can see, breaks slow. So Hot Rod Charlie, just as he did in the Louisiana Derby, when Rosario was aboard, found himself in front. As you mentioned, these fractions were fast up front.
I can't remember a Belmont Stakes when we've had such a quick pace, and certainly not one in recent memory. I mean, you usually see 24 and change, 49 and change, 114, a completely different race, and you see Essential Quality sitting in a very good spot back in 5th. Rombauer was sitting 4th, both in very good spot. Rombauer simply wasn't good enough. I don't think he ran that badly, Greg. I just think the first 2 finishers ran superb races.
Well, there's Hot Rod Charlie clearly in front, establishing himself on the front end, but here comes Essential Quality under Luis Saez, really starting to make up some ground.
I mean, it wasn't like they were that far out of it, right? I mean, they were a little gapped early, but by the 3-quarter mark in 112 flat, they got right up in there, and I don't think that Essential Quality wanted to let Rombauer get ahead of them, and I can't believe how well Hot Rod Charlie ran in defeat.
It's incredible that he hung in there. Meanwhile, Essential Quality, who was 4 wide, coming in here, it becomes a 2-horse race down the stretch, and you think Hot Rod Charlie, well, at this point, he's got to pack it in, but he continues to fight.
Incredible. I mean, you focus on the winner, and congrats to Essential Quality, and he ran very well. I do not knock him at all, and congrats to Brad Cox. A tough day for him. It's all a distant memory when you win a race like the Belmont Stakes. But in defeat, Hot Rod Charlie ran about as well in a Triple Crown race to finish 2nd as any horse in recent memory.
What a performance. The performance a lot of people, I think, expected in the Kentucky Derby. He had a tough post. He had a wide trip. Horses weren't making up ground. Didn't have to worry about that today.
I felt like this was the most definitive of the Triple Crown races. Both the first 2 finishers really stamped themselves as clear leaders in division. Rombauer will get a chance to bounce back. We'll see what his connections do. But these 2 horses really put in a show. And in my opinion, this was the strongest of any of the 3 Triple Crown races.
And we're continuing to see the evolution, maybe a little bit of the changing of the guard of one of the top trainers now in this game. Brad Cox, of course, your Eclipse Award-winning trainer, first time in his career last year as outstanding trainer. Now he adds a Classic.
No, it's a huge win for him, and a great win for Luis Saez, who's such a terrific rider as well as being a terrific young man. And you think about the disqualification in the Kentucky Derby, and it's nice to see him get some redemption.
Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale, standing by with a winning trainer.
So pleased to be here with Brad Cox, and Brad, Essential Quality proving that he is the best of his generation with this victory in the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously champion 2-year-old, and this is the test of champions, and he passed the test. I'm very proud of him. A mile and a half's a long way around there, I'll tell you that, and just very proud of this colt and what he accomplished today.
And Brad, it was a trying day for you and your stable, but this has to be just make it all better.
No doubt, no doubt. This is a tough game. It's a game where ups and downs, and I'm not trying to be negative, but most of the time it's going down. And we brought a lot of really good horses in here. They ran good races. Didn't find the winner's circle, and obviously this last one we led over here did. And he was the one. Obviously, this was the big one, and we're very proud of him. And he added to his legacy and Tappett's legacy in this race. It's just amazing what that stallion's produced. That's been able to win this mile and a half test. I mean, it's a long way around there. It's a demanding race.
4 of the last 8 winners have been sired by Tappet. And Brad, I know you'll have to get with Godolphin, see how he is after the race, but have you thought about the rest of his 3-year-old campaign?
Well, I know Jimmy Bell and Dan Pride, the Travers would be the goal. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, we'll talk it over with the team, the Godolphin team, and come up with a game plan. But, and how we get there, I don't know. Well, like you said, first and foremost, we make sure he comes out of this in good order, getting back home to Churchill. And then at some point, I think he will spend the summer at Saratoga, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Brad, enjoy this win. It is so sweet to see the 2-year-old champ in this Belmont winner's circle.
Thanks, Maggie. I appreciate it.
All right, Brad Cox, guys, Essential Quality proving that he is best, and can't help but get excited that we might see him up at Saratoga too. Greg?
It is just great. Thank you, Maggie, to see the big horses, the stars of this sport, deliver on the grandest stage.
No question about it, and you want to see thrilling races. And there are lots of different races can be thrilling. A horse can win and be a dominant winner, but to get a stretch duel like that among 2 excellent horses and not a stretch duel among 2 mediocrities that just happen to be sort of both not that good. These 2 horses laid it all on the line, and I thought that was an incredible performance by both. But I'm going to say Essential Quality hasn't stamped himself as definitive leader of the division. He may be the leader now, but Hot Rod Charlie's going to have a lot to say about this 3-year-old championship before the year is over.
No question. That was an incredible performance by both these 2. I think everybody now just itching to see the rematch, to survive that kind of pace with company up front as well, and still be. Where was Rock Your World at the end of the race?
No,
to give
exactly. Anybody that
was
was close to the pace just completely and totally evaporated, and it's rivalries that get you excited. Affirmed and Alidar, Sunday Silence and Easy Goer, and these 2 horses could establish one heck of a rivalry.
Thrilling edition of the Belmont Stakes. Let's check in with Richard Migliori for more. Mig, we got everything we wanted out of this Belmont.
Greg, this was an absolutely thrilling rendition of the Belmont Stakes. We had a lot of pace on. Hot Rod Charlie ran extremely well. You don't see fractions like that going a mile and a half and horses sticking around. Certainly the horses that were up there with him, they wilted from that contested pace, but he kept finding. And even when he was challenged by the reigning 2-year-old champion, Essential Quality, he did not want to yield. He ran too good a race to lose. I saw his trainer, Doug O'Neill, in the tunnel walking back, and I said to him, he ran too good to lose. And you could see, though, he, disappointed they lost, but very proud of his colt. And they had a plan. This was their plan. They felt like his best weapon was to show speed. I'm sure they would have preferred not to have gone that fast to make the lead. But you can't blame them when they go in with a plan, execute the plan, and do everything but win. But Essential Quality kind of shows that his Derby, he was just very unlucky. The start of every race is so important. He got off to a bumpy start. Then he was caught chasing wide throughout in what turned out to be, in Andy's parlance, a merry-go-round race. I think this was a tremendous race from 2 top-class horses. And the first 3 finishes, I think, were the best 3 going in and the best 3 coming out. Rombauer just 3rd best to 2 very good colts.
Well, and a little more news that Andy's going to share with you right now it's going to make Hot Rod Charlie look even better.
Apparently, it was the fastest first quarter in the history of the Belmont Stakes. And for a horse to set that under pressure and still be there at the finish is an absolutely remarkable achievement.
Incredible. The race he ran in defeat, and we can't wait to see them go at it again. We still have 2 more races on this Belmont Stakes card coming up. Chance to hit this late double. We're 9 minutes to post in the 12th coming up. Today's race is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We'll be on the turf here. Mile on the Widener turf course. New York breds in an entry-level allowance. You can play this race by getting signed up and started with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com or download the app. And Belmont 25, that code to use again at sign up and get that 100% deposit match of up to $200. This race right now, it is the 11. My Lips Are Sealed, George Weaver, Eric Cancel, 5-2 favorite, but Spongy for Bill Mott, who had a big day as well with a 1-2 finish in the Jaipur. He'll have Joel Rosario aboard. Talk more about this field when we return on America's Day at the Races.
Following C and Happy Soul faced winners for the first time to kick off Belmont Stakes week. Following C was in cruise control throughout and galloped home 6.5 lengths in front, scoring an amazing 100 Beyer speed figure. Happy Soul, who recorded the highest Beyer speed figure for a 2-year-old filly when breaking her maiden in May, came back and strolled by 11.5 lengths in the Astoria. Seeing is believing. 2 Run Happies, 2 freakish romps at Belmont Park by a combined 18 lengths. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races, program brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We got the 12th next here, again on the turf. 1 mile in this New York bred entry-level allowance. Still, My Lips Are Sealed outside here. The 5-2 favorite, George Weaver, Eric Cancel.
Sitting here with one of the biggest Go-Go's fans there is. I
Love
know that
Belinda
Greg
Carlisle.
loves My Lips Are Sealed.
And
it's close.
Should be
the speed.
The controlling pace in here, right?
Certainly looks like it was, especially the 10 scratched.
Now we'll see a big-time lady, part of that entry. The remaining half tries to put pressure on and make life difficult. Luis Saez, aggressive rider, will be in the irons. He's got to be pumped up right now.
She potentially could be a speed in this race, and she did run well enough 2 races back, second off a layoff, to be a contender.
We're up to Spongy, Joel Rosario, Bill Mott.
I love Spongy in this race. I think her debut will win it, and she showed in her off-the-turf race last race that maybe the race 2 back was an aberration.
Big Al's gal went by, and here's English Breeze.
Another contender in this race, ran well against the boys, well enough against the boys last time.
Kinky Socks, 14-1, Kendra Carmouche.
Ran okay last time out. She'd have to improve on it, but not a bad effort.
38-1 on Kara's Dreamer.
She's dreaming that she wins this race. Unfortunately, she's going to wake up.
38-1. Unicorn Sally, Javier Castellano, big price as well for John Kimmel.
Yeah, I mean, her races in Florida weren't that bad, but she'd probably even have to improve on them, and that seems unlikely.
Panda Mom, she was behind English Breeze last time out.
Doesn't hurt to have Flavian Pratt riding this horse. And I don't think it's impossible. She was favored in her last race for what it's worth.
Yeah, he has proven what a difference maker he is already today. And then My Lips Are Sealed, pace outside with Eric Cancel.
And Eric Cancel almost won the Manhattan with a great ride in Tribune. He'll go to the front with this horse as well. And listen, her last race was good. I just feel like the competition is tougher today. But she ran fast last time, Greg.
3 minutes away from this 12th here at Belmont. Again, you can play this race with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com, download the app, and get a 100% deposit match of up to $200 at sign up and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Let's head downstairs and welcome in for the first time on our evening show, part 2 here of this program, Paul Duca.
Yeah, Greg, thank you very much. Trying to get you out, right? If you didn't have Essential Quality winning the Belmont Stakes or Hot Rod Charlie, both of them running absolutely giant. I couldn't agree more with you guys up on the set. Two best horses ran 1-2, but we got to try to make some money. And I actually like the two horses in here for Jorge Abreu. In his first career start, or her first career start, this daughter of Flincher did not break an absolute step. She got left 12 out of 12. And usually I don't really love playing these type of horses that stretch back to a mile after a beginning like this. And sometimes it could be a sucker bet. When I look at Jorge Abreu, he's 17% sprinter out. He is 29% when he wins his last start. And what I want to focus on with Runaway Rumor is they went 58-1 for the half. They finished up in 109-3. My calculations is that's 11-2 coming home. What did she come home in? She came home in sub 11 seconds in the middle of the racetrack. Watch this turn of foot. And guys, I think she'll be able to handle the mile. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. She just needs to carve out a good trip. Ricardo Santana Jr. will be aboard.
Paul, thanks. 9-2 right now, inside post, and that's the question. Stretch out here at start number 2. Can she handle it?
That's a real question. She was very good first time out. And you see the pedigree and you say she's ready to go long. But it doesn't always work out that way. She was brilliant first time out. I thought she ran terrific. But it wasn't that fast a race. She'd have to improve. As visually impressive as she was, the trainer, Jorge Abreu, I have untold amounts of respect for, an ex-assistant to Chad Brown. He's 0 for 33 stretching horses out from sprints to routes in the turf with just 8 hitting the board. I'm a numbers guy. I respect her first race. I actually picked her third in this race, but I'm not betting her to win. I think it's all about sponging in here. If she shows up for Bill Mott, I believe she's going to boss this crew for Joel Rosario. I know he's had a tough day, but the day is not over.
It is not indeed. More work to be done. Let's head downstairs to Mig.
No, the day is not over, and I talk about horses all the time, but I'm going to start with the 1A because I want to talk about the jockey. 1A big-time lady with Luis Saez. Could not wipe the smile off his face. So animated and so happy coming off his Belmont Stakes victory, and just turned around talking with his fellow riders. And if horses feed on energy, which I believe they do, big time lady could have a big time response. The 2 Runaway Rumor, I like her too. I think she'll improve off her first run, and I like what I saw from her. I think that the mile will suit her very well from a physical perspective. The 5 English Breeze will ultimately be where I'll land. I think this filly looks fantastic, making her 4th start off the layoffs, 3rd off the layoff on the turf. And I thought she had subtle trouble last time where she just had to pause and wait for room. Now, most of the time on the turf, that's not an issue, but some horses don't stop and start as well. So I do think she needs to work out a kind of smooth journey, but I really like what I saw from her and how the class she exuded heading to the track with Manny Franco. And the horse that was probably a standout from a physical perspective, and if I was just going purely on physicality, would be the 9 Panda Mom. Could not be better turned out for Christophe Clement. She looked absolutely radiant, leaving the tunnel, walking onto the racetrack.
All right, so Mig giving big check marks on appearances to Panda Mom, Clement, Flavian Pratt.
Well, Flavian Pratt, I mean, I really think he showed people during this Triple Crown season the kind of rider that he is. Exceptional day on Derby Day. Obviously, the big win, the Preakness, today as well. We have a lot of great riders, great Hall of Fame riders here, and he rides as well as anybody.
Meanwhile, that 6 moving in, big price, 15-1. This horse has not been on a turf a lot recently. Gone back on the grass last start off a layoff and actually ran very good. We're set for the 12th. Let's go upstairs. Here's John Imbrial with the call.
And they're off. There goes a Big Time Lady out for the early lead. And then Panda Mom, Spongy down towards the hedge is running in third. My Lips Are Sealed is next in fourth and moving up a spot. And then comes English Breeze, who is next in fifth, followed by Kinky Socks in sixth. To her outside is Kara's Dreamer in seventh, and Runaway Rumor next in eighth. And at the back, Unicorn Sally and Big Al's Gal. Big Time Lady is the leader here through a quarter in 24 seconds. And then it is Panda Mom, who's on the inside of My Lips Are Sealed. My Lips Are Sealed takes second. Panda Mom is back running in third. A break of 3 to Spongy on the inside in fourth. Kara's Dreamer on the outside, and between those two it is English Breeze. Then a break of almost 3 back to Kinky Socks, who is running in seventh, followed by Runaway Rumor. The field goes around the far turn, and it is Big Time Lady leading by 3/4 of a length. My Lips Are Sealed on the outside is in second. Panda Mom down at the hedge, then Kara's Dreamer, and in between horses it is English Breeze. Spongy is sixth, about 5 lengths from the lead. She looks to cut the corner there as the field comes into the stretch. 3/4 went in 1:11 and 2. My Lips Are Sealed has now taken the lead from Big Time Lady. Spongy is now coming on through, and Runaway Rumor has made up a lot of ground and continues to gain out in the middle of the course. Here comes Spongy. My Lips Are Sealed, and on the outside, Runaway Rumor. Spongy, Runaway Rumor, Runaway Rumor got it from well off the pace. Then Spongy, and My Lips Are Sealed.
Runaway Rumor needed all of that mile to get up, and now undefeated on the stretch out to a mile.
And Jorge Abreu is now 1 for 34, stretching horses out on the turf. Glad I was able to get that stat out there. It's a very nice horse. He made a big run. You know, the race set up well for him, but he really kicked in. You see him moving 3 wide, and you see inside of him in the green on the rail is Joel Rosario on Spongy, the second place finisher. Joel was extremely confident. He doesn't seem to worry at all in the turn. The horses were getting a little away from him. He wanted to save that ground. Got the absolute perfect trip with Spongy. I thought he was a winner for sure, but he simply couldn't hold Runaway Rumor, as you say, 2 for 2, and he did improve stretching out, because as good as his debut was, this was a tougher field, and I think he ran very, very well. And you know what? The 11, My Lips Are Sealed, also ran very well in defeat, because not like any of the other pace setters stuck around, and she didn't even make the lead.
Yeah, got to figure that one wanted to be in front, wasn't able to do that. Ricardo Santana Jr., meanwhile, delivers on this daughter of Flincher for Jorge Abreu, who's now 2 for 2, Mig.
Yeah, and I think impressive again. She broke better than her first start, but still a little bit on the slow side. She had to come wide into the stretch, but finished with resolution to get up. Spongy worked out a beautiful trip under Joel Rosario, saving the ground, came out between horses. And this is a filly with a future, because I think she still is figuring the game out and could have another big step forward in her. But nice race to kind of put a cherry on top of the Belmont Stakes, and we still got one more to go, guys.
Yes, we do, Mig. We are looking forward to it. Gorgeous weather out here. We're enjoying all we can of Belmont Stakes Saturday.
No, I agree. You know, there's so much great about horse racing, and obviously we love it. But having the fans back out here, the excitement of the Belmont Stakes with the fans. You think about last year when Tiz the Law won, and it was great. We were getting back to racing. There wasn't any, first sports to get back in New York City. But we're sitting up here, Manny Franco wins the Belmont Stakes, and we're talking to him from the 3rd floor set because there's nobody here. That wasn't going to happen today, and it's just been a great day of racing, celebrating all the things that are great about the sport. One race left, but boy, it's just been one good race after another.
2, 3, 11, 4, and we still got one more to come on the turf as well on Belmont Stakes Saturday here at Big Sandy. We'll be back. More coming up. Drain the clock. We'll look back at his Woody Stevens upset. How good was search results in the Acorn for Chad Brown and Seth Klarman and Casa Creed? Tequila shot time after a win in the Jaipur. We'll be back.
The ultimate accolade for a racehorse is to be named Horse of the Year. To be enshrined to the Hall of Fame is to achieve immortality. As a stallion, genetic immortality is defined in 2 words: breed shaper. Plain and simple. Two-time Horse of the Year and Hall of Fame inductee, Curlin is just that. Breed shaper, Curlin, the classic sire.
What could be better than standing one Triple Crown winner? Standing two.
Here comes American Pharaoh. Justified, turning for home in front. And American Pharaoh has pulled. Justified. He's unstoppable. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh, Justified, has won the Triple Crown.
Coolmore, America, home of Triple Crown champions.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. And I am pleased to be joined by Jorge Abreu, trainer of Runaway Rumor, winner of the 12th right after the Belmont Stakes. Kind of a lot of excitement around here, but she kind of kept the excitement level going. Big finishing kick from this filly.
Yeah, this filly trained in the morning like she has a lot of ability. You know, of her last race, she came out of the last race in pretty good shape.
Now, you said you only got to breeze her one time, but that was because of the racetrack?
Because of the weather, the track was rainy last weekend. We didn't have time to breeze her, give her a second breeze. So I just breezed her one after the last race.
Now, she didn't break very well at all the first time, and she broke okay today, but still not very sharp. Do you think it's something she'll continue to get better at?
I think she'll continue to get better because she was a little slower last time, first time. She got a little better today. But Ricardo said she don't want to be rushed either. She wants to come from behind.
How far ultimately do you think she'll want to go?
I think she could go a mile and 60, a mile and 8. The way her running style, I think she could do a mile and 8.
You've been having a terrific year, and particularly with young horses, first-time starters. What is it in their training do you see that kind of points out that they're going to run well first time?
I just had to see like a good breeze before the last breeze for the race, post-race. Like the two breezes before, I gave her a good breeze, and from there I could see if they're going to be turf, dirt, where they want to be, long, short.
And you worked for Chad Brown, so a good kind of example there.
I work for the best in the world, in the business right now.
Well, I know you got to saddle one in the next race. Congratulations, and thank you for taking the time. Guys, he's a chip off the old block, if you will.
Thank you.
Well, good to be part of that barn and learn. And, yeah, price talk for Jorge Abreu. Going to have a big shot in the next race. He's part of a coupled entry with his former boss.
Yeah, and you know, I was actually talking to Chad Brown about Jorge Abreu a little bit earlier, and he was filled with praise for the talent he had and what a terrific co-worker he was when he worked in his barn. And you don't have the success that Chad Brown has had, and he's very generous with his praise of his barn, as he should be. You don't have that success without people like this working for you, and you can see by the terrific job he's been doing out in his own training. He's an excellent trainer.
Finale coming up on this Saturday Belmont Stakes card. It is on the turf at a mile and an 1/8, an allowance optional claiming group where Jorge Abreu and Chad Brown will team up with the entry in here. Chad Brown with Value Engineering, Jorge with Price Talk.
And it's already been a record-setting day for Klarovich Stables, who I think for the first time won 3 races in a day, including 2 Grade 1s. And they have a chance to win a 4th race today. It's pretty amazing to see that, so good luck.
8 Grade 1s were on the card this afternoon. Let's take a look at the winners, or what was on the program here. This was the schedule from earlier in the day. And let's take a look at the first of those Grade 1s on the list in the Woody Stevens. Jackie's Warrior, everyone thought was going to be an incredibly tough one to beat in here off what he did in the Pat Day Mile. Did not break sharp, and that absolutely cost him here.
Right, the break he just I don't know if he got squeezed. I haven't seen the head on. But you look at him now, and you were talking about this with me after the race. He's a couple lengths behind already, 2-3 lengths behind. They went 22 flat, I think 22.09. So he basically went a 21-3 first quarter to catch up. Incredibly game and defeat, but let's give a lot of credit to Drain the Clock as well. This is a big step up for him, and he really delivered. I mean, yes, Jackie's Warrior may have run the best race. He ran a terrific race, but that doesn't mean that Drain the Clock didn't run well.
No, no question. Jose Ortiz filling in for his older brother here, for Safi Joseph, son of McLean's Music, who now has reeled off 4 wins in his last 5 starts, but this obviously the big one on the resume, a grade 1 win and getting by Jackie's Warrior. Still, he had to battle back to get this win.
It's a career-defining win to win a race like this. Obviously, they'll be pointing to Saratoga. Whether they run in the Amsterdam or the Alan Jerkins remains to be seen, but this is a huge win for him, and congratulations to Connections. You don't win these races if you don't take a shot. They did it 7-1, and he delivered.
Slam Dunk Racing, Matacat Stables, and a horse who is now 6 for 8 lifetime. He's just a win machine. And he steps up and does it at a price in the grade 1, Woody Stevens.
No, this was an excellent effort by him. And, you know, you want to see good efforts in grade 1 races. They're the biggest races. And I think this was a terrific performance by both the first 2 finishers.
So Drain the Clock with that big win. Meanwhile, in the Acorn, search results took a ton of money, as she should, coming off that narrow defeat to Malathot in the Kentucky Oaks as the runner-up.
She absolutely delivered in here, stalking the pace. It seemed fairly tepid, and she was able to seize control. Obligatory made a little bit of a scary run down the stretch and a chance to run her down. That was an excellent effort by Obligatory, whose Connections are probably looking towards the test at Saratoga. I imagine they're probably more thinking about one-turn races, Greg. And I wanted to compare in times. We'll see the Metropolitan Mile, the Hillendale Met Mile for older horses. Search results ran only 0.05 seconds slower than the winner of that race, according to Teletimer. According to Trackus, she ran a 1/5 of a second faster.
Wow.
And Chad Brown's won this race now 2 out of the last 3 years as well, winning with the Guarana. Guy can train a dirt horse, too.
And she wins this race again, not switching leads down the lane.
Talked quite a bit about that with Chad Brown after the race, and he was saying that she has no problem doing it in the mornings. But as he said, that he doesn't train them at race speed. So she doesn't seem to do it. But, you know, we talked about other horses that have done it, but she doesn't switch reads. She does it in the morning. And he said if she doesn't do it in the morning, what am I, you know, like it's a hard thing to change if she doesn't do it in the afternoons, but does it in the mornings.
Grade 1 win for Klarovich Stables. They would add another later in the day. Let's go to the Jaipur first, though, and all the talk in here, Bound for Nowhere for Wesley Ward, who was a short price, but Bill Mott winds up running 1-2.
And congratulations to Bill and to Lee Einseidler, the owner. I mean, most of us around the racetrack get to know Lee, and it's a pleasure to know somebody like Lee. He's a good guy. I like to make fun of him a lot, but he's really a wonderful person. And to see him win this race, his first grade 1 since his $4 million purchase, Mr. Sydney. And, I mean, he crushed the field in this race. And he's always been somewhat effective in the longer races, but I think we found out this is what he should have been doing all along. He overcame a slow pace to win the Elusive Quality, and he just galloped here. Breeders' Cup Sprint winner? Why not? Turf Sprint, that is.
He's in the mix, no question. And Junior Alvarado fired up after that victory, owned in part as well by Mike Francesa. And now back-to-back wins sprinting on turf at 7/8, at 6 furlongs. And, yeah, impossible not to root for Lee Einseidler, who you see there on just
well dressed up for today. He really put on his best T-shirt to come out for Belmont Stakes Day.
Casual Belmont Saturday.
Lee's the man.
What a moment. Chewing gum for Bill Mott winds up running second at a monster price.
You know, not bad to be Bill Mott and run 1-2. I ran to him after the race. He seemed pretty happy, as he should be.
Just the first few that we had on a monster afternoon with 8 grade 1s on this card. Let's take a look at all your winners and what they returned.
And a day like today is a day to start really finding horses that are leaders of the division. Now, Drain the Clock, leader of the 3-year-old sprint division after this, along with Jackie's Warrior. Search results still behind Malathot, who beat her in the Kentucky Oaks fair and square. Latruska's the leader of her division, older fillies and mares, after her big win. Silver State, he's got to be one of the leaders, if not the leader for older horse right now. Who's ahead of him for older horse right now? I'm trying to think.
I think, well, I don't know if Drain the Clock with that win would be the leader in that.
Sprinters.
No, I'm saying Jackie's Warrior with the
well,
bad break had
along
the
with Jackie's
excuse.
Warrior,
Yeah.
I'm saying, but Jackie's got the results.
Yeah.
Results
No
do matter
question.
in those situations.
I wanted to ask you though. You look at that list. Who impressed you the most?
Domestic spending. Domestic spending's race is one of those ones you just sort of want to watch over and over again. Tribhuvan ran amazingly well. Gufo ran well and did close in the back of the pack. But it almost felt like Domestic Spending was in a different race than everybody else. When Flavien Prat asked him for his move and angled him out, I mean, he was flying down the stretch. He's a tremendous horse. And to think that these connections had Brixton Moore the horse of the year 2 years ago. And I said to Seth Klarman after the race, I think he might be better than Brix. That's how good he is. That was... How confident are you?
Really?
159 flat, and I know they've listed his firm. This was a tremendous performance by him.
It really was. We're going to take a break. 2 grade ones and still more work to do for Klarovich Stables. And Chad Brown, we have the nightcap coming up. We'll be back. Finale next. We'll have the post parade for this last on the card right after this.
Taproot, sold for $1.2 million as a yearling at Saratoga. Taproot's victories include the Grade 1 Belmont Stakes.
The Belmont Stakes!
In his first 2 years at stud, he bred over 240 mares. Now his first wheatlings have arrived.
In Show Barn, 100,000.
One of the best bred sons of Sires Tappet to ever enter stud. Classic winner and stakes record setter Taproot, standing at Gainesway.
Resorts World Catskills, your closest casino resort experience, is so close. Stay the night and get your game on. Play live table games or thousands of slots. Resorts World Catskills.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Program is brought to you by Hill and Dale at Alapa. Getting set for this nightcap coming up on a gorgeous Saturday evening in Elmont, New York, where we had the third and final leg of the Triple Crown completed. Just a couple of races back. 2-year-old champion Essential Quality out-dueling a tremendous runner-up effort from Hot Rod Charlie. This 13th race, mile and an eighth over the turf. Allowance optional claiming field, and Jorge Abreu, Chad Brown with an entry that's favored right now. Let's head downstairs to Richard Migliori.
Well, it's a really nice-looking group of horses. It's been a solid card all the way through from race 1 to 13. We've seen some awesome performances, and I'm looking forward to another competitive turf race here going a mile and an eighth. We'll start with number 3, Microsecond. From a physical perspective, he looks fabulous here in the paddock, which you expect from a Todd Pletcher trainee. Gets the inside post, turns back 1/8 of a mile in distance. And inside posts are very important going 1 1/8 miles on the inner turf here because it's a very short run to the first turn. Joel Rosario has that, that knack of getting horses to run into his hands and kind of melt into his hands. And from that advantageous inside post, you expect him to be forwardly placed in the right kind of position. There's an entry, one both for Seth Klarman, Klarovich stable, but one trained by Jorge Abreu, who we saw just win the 12th race, Price Talk. He could not look any better. He had that race off the bench where he ran extremely well over at Aqueduct, and he looks like he's gone forward from that race. I expect him to take a step forward and run even better than he did last time. And then Chad's horse, the other Klarovich stable, 1A Value Engineering. When we talk about horses coming from barns like Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, these big name, good trainers, you don't expect anything less but for them to be turned out and resplendent in the coat. They feed tremendously, they've got great help, and their horses reflect that overall general good care that they get. So I'm not really giving anybody any earth-shattering news with that, but they do look outstanding. They look good on paper, and they look outstanding in the paddock. And the 7-horse, Desert Peace, I think it's making a nice impression. Charlie Appleby won 2 earlier in the day in the Just a Game. His horses are very well turned out. This is a horse a little bit on the smaller side, son of Curlin, but very handy looking. But I do think he'll get the 1 1/8 miles, no problem. And he was training with their Belmont Stakes hopeful that Charlie Appleby sent here that didn't compete in the Belmont. But, man, I tell you what, he's a cool-looking customer, and I think he's going to run really well here in the finale.
There's a look at one of the greats in this game, Mike Smith. Had a winner early on in the card for Charlie Appleby on Alfica in the Just a Game. He's looking to deliver in the nightcap for that same barn in Godolphin. We'll be back with the finale next.
It's difficult to get a sire that can upgrade your mares like this stallion can.
This horse does produce runners. Very talented runners, 3-year-old runners, Derby contending runners.
This horse is priced where anybody can afford to breed to him, and if you're trying to improve your mare, he's a horse that's shown he can do it.
There is no younger AP Indy that moves his mares up like he does.
Eclipse champion Blame. Among sires with less than 10 crops, he has more Grade 1 winners than any stallion standing under $100,000, including Grade 1 winners Nadal, Marley's Freedom, Fault, Abscond, and French Classic winner Singa, plus these recent standout performers. With success on the track and with yearlings bringing up to $400,000, this proven son of Arch is truly a gold value stallion. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Back on America's Day of the Races on Fox Sports 2. Thank you for being with us. We got one more coming up here on this Belmont Stakes card. You can play all the action, of course, with Naira Bets. Go to the website or download the app. Here is Price Talk. Junior Alvarado rides for Jorge Abreu.
Jorge Abreu looking for back-to-back wins, and you and I were talking, Greg. Both halves of the entry are strong, and this is the one that has more upside.
Post 4 for Price Talk. Post 6 for Value Engineering, Chad Brown.
Comes off a 10-month layoff, but we've already seen him win last year off almost a 9-month layoff.
Here is Hard Love for Jonathan Thomas. Comes off a win in the Woodhaven.
He was rained off the turf in the Pennine Ridge, so he needs a prep for the Belmont Derby. They'd like to win, but this race is a means to an end.
The rail goes to microsecond Joel Rosario.
He ran gamely last time, trying to wire the field a mile and a quarter, but it feels like he's supposed to face some real speed outside of him with Kentucky Pharoah.
Kendrick Carmouche on Kentucky Pharoah, who's a stakes winner.
Yeah, I don't know if he's good enough, but he's supposed to be in front.
Journeyman, Luis Saez, Mike Maker.
You got to think he's a little bit interesting here on the trainer switch to Mike Maker. It's an ex-Godolphin horse, actually, that 3 Diamonds bought.
Temple, another Mike Maker horse with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Obviously, he has qualifications to win this race. He's got some very fast back races.
Charlie Appleby, he ran 1-2 in that Just a Game. He sends out Desert Peace first on the grass.
He'd have to improve. He's not a tremendous amount of pedigree to speak of. We'll see. They paid $1.3 million for this one.
My son of Curlin out of a flatter mare. Forever Mo, Timothy Hills, Florent Giroux.
He's a long shot that a friend of mine likes a lot. I wish him the best of luck.
13-1 on Opry, Todd Fletcher, Johnny V.
He's a bit of a price that this idiot likes quite a little bit in this race. He was wide last time, and I thought at a price he had some good races, and maybe I'd take a small shot with him.
David Donk with a 20-1 shot. He'll have Jose Ortiz aboard, winning factor.
You know, second off a layoff, I don't think he's impossible to get a piece in here if you're looking for somebody to price.
I agree. He ran good against this horse, who I thought had a shot as well. Ballo Rocks has some serious backclass for this field.
I don't disagree. His last race really serves as a reasonable prep for this race. The Henry Clark, his race kind of collapsed in there, and he didn't run badly in a good field. Tough post, though, to overcome, even for Flavien Prat.
Big number at 18-1. He's an 8-year-old now. We skipped over, talked about him, didn't see him, though, but there's winning factor, that David Donk runner, 5-year-old by the factor, who's a 3-time winner on turf.
Deja vu all over again? He's back again for a second time. This could be an omen, Greg.
We'll talk through anything. We don't need him on the screen. Play this race. If you've had a rough day, a lot of times this can be the race that saves it for you. The last one on the card.
You know, the good news is there's 9 more tomorrow, Greg. I'm going to be here. How about you?
I will as well. We're going to talk about our feature coming up tomorrow before we sign off. Get signed up, started. Go to NowRebets.com. Download the app. Go there as well. And bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Let's check downstairs with Paul LaDuca for more.
Yeah, guys, I already have my sleeping bag over here ready for tomorrow. I'll be here for the 9 races, too, as well. I'm going to talk about the other Jorge Abreu horse. I think he's actually going to sweep the double. I really love price talking here. I think the last race that he ran was a good race. And when you look at his pedigree, he's a Kitten's Joy out of a War Chant mare. The 1 1/8 should help him even more, and I think he's the one to be. Like Andy said, the 1 and the 1A are formidable entry here, and are going to be tough to handle. I do like Hard Love a tiny bit. By the same sire, Kitten's Joy, they do like to stretch out a little bit more. Does have a little bit of tactical speed. Wondering if this is a setup race for somewhere else down the line, but I'm not going to give you much on the get out, guys. I think the 1 and the 1A could run 1-2 here.
Yeah, I don't think that would surprise a lot of people. That's how good these barns are and how sharp these horses are form-wise coming in as well. Let's check it again with Mig.
Yeah, guys, I want to talk a little bit more about the 7 Desert Peace, who just made a really nice impression on me in the paddock, as well as what I saw for him going to the racetrack. He's very light on his feet, really kind of animated in his stride, and looks great. Now, this is the first time he's ever running on turf. He has run well on synthetic, and he has run well on dirt, but I think he'll handle the turf just fine, and I think the 7 Desert Peace is a very interesting runner, as well as the 2-horse Hard Love, who also made a great impression to me. I like what I saw from him. In the paddock, he didn't grab my attention as much as when he got to the track, and then he seemed to blow up a little bit. So the 2 Hard Love, I think, also a major player here.
All right, Mig, thank you. We'll see if Charlie Appleby can continue his big Belmont Stakes day.
Let's talk a little about the 2 Hard Love. The Belmont Derby, one of 2 Grade 1s, and the only 2 remaining Grade 1s, I believe, at the Belmont Park meeting will be run on Saturday, July 10th, our Stars and Stripes Day, and I hope people come out and visit. It's going to be a fabulous day of racing right before we head to Saratoga. Hard Love could be one of the favorites in there. He was scheduled to run the usual prep, the Pennine Ridge, last weekend. That race was rained off the turf. We saw Public Sector come back and win against Olders going a mile yesterday in his prep for the race. Hard Love's a very nice horse, but these are really hard-knocking older horsemen, more experienced or faster. There may well be a point in Hard Love's career that he's as good, if not better, than the horses he's running against here. We just don't really know if he's there yet. But I think he's an interesting horse to watch, and keeping that Stars and Stripes Day and the Belmont Derby in mind, as you look for the future, because even a third or fourth against these horses, Greg, would set him up very well for that race.
No, that's a great point. He is 5-1. Manny Franco will be aboard. Tough test here for a 3-year-old, tackling older horses in light on experience as well. This is just the 4th start of his career. Favorite, The Entry. Price talk for Jorge Abreu. Value engineering for Chad Brown. It's this finale on our Belmont Stakes card. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial with the call.
And the gray winning factor moving into line. And the field will be completed by number 11, Bala Rocks. And they're all in. And they're off. Unseating the rider right at the start was number 4, Kentucky Pharaoh. So we have a loose horse who is in the middle of the field right now as they go around the clubhouse turn. It is Journeyman who has the lead here, and on the outside is Desert Peace, who is racing in 2nd. Then you've got that loose horse, and they're followed by Hard Love, who is next in 3rd. Then it is Temple, who is racing in 4th, followed by Winning Factor on the outside, next in 5th. Price Talk is running in 6th. Then comes Value Engineering, next in 7th. Microsecond is running in 8th. Opry is in 9th. And the trailers are Forever Mo and Bala Rocks. Quarter went in 24 and 1/5 seconds. So it is Desert Peace who gets away here to lead by 2.5 lengths. And then on the outside is Hard Love. On the inside is Journeyman. They are right together, 2nd and 3rd. Winning Factor runs in 4th. Temple down at the hedge next in 5th. Half mile in 50 and 1. And now they are going around the far turn with Desert Peace, the leader here, and Hard Love ranging up on the outside. Desert Peace and Hard Love. Winning Factor is now a factor in 3rd. Journeyman is just in behind those 3 and in 4th. Here comes The Entry, Price Talk, and Value Engineering. And then it is a Temple as the field comes through the stretch. Here's Hard Love up to tackle Desert Peace. Desert Peace, a stubborn foe here. Desert Peace on the inside, Hard Love on the outside. And then it is Winning Factor, and on the outside, Value Engineering. They are coming for the finish, and it is going to be a head bob. May have been Hard Love right there with Desert Peace in this 13th race finale.
Wow.
I don't even know who won.
I believe it was Hard Love, the 3-year-old, under Manny Franco.
Well, that's an exceptional performance by him. To be able to win a race like this against older horses, amazing. A very good ride by Manny Franco, getting in position in here. I'll have to watch the finish again. I was trying to watch a lot of things. I don't even know who some of these horses were that were closing inside of horses. Who's the horse on the rail in the yellow
It's hard.
cap?
Desert Peace and Mike Smith, who was in front most of the way.
Are you
down on the fence?
Yep. You're correct. That was the 2 getting the money over Charlie Appleby's horse, Desert Peace. And Hard Love, you got to give him a lot of credit here to win against race against older horses. You may be looking at your favorite for the Grade 1 Belmont Derby. So we had 8 Grade 1s today, and we might have seen a Grade 1 winner to close it out. And felt like we might have seen a Grade 1 winner to start the day as well. And that 2-year-old. I know it seemed like a long time ago, but that first winner, Wit.
Yeah,
you
for
may
Todd
be hearing
Pletcher,
from
who
him in the
completely
hopeful.
missed the break and still wound up winning by about 5 or 6 lengths. Hard Love, 3-year-old, beating older horses light on experience, Mig, but wow, did he show up.
Boy, did he show up, and he needed every inch of the stretch to get by a very game Desert Peace, making his turf and North American debut. Got to send some very soft fractions early. Hard Love in the right position under Manny Franco. Hard riding Manny Franco just gets up over Desert Peace and Hall of Famer Mike Smith. And the 4-horse Kentucky Pharaoh unseated Kendrick Carmouche at the break. I think that's why you see the inquiry folks on it. And the Outriders did a tremendous job once again apprehending the loose Kentucky Pharaoh.
Yeah, we hope Kendrick Carmouche okay. We'll try and get you an update as soon as we can. Obviously, the horse is fine. Strange race. We did not, several that we thought might go to the front in here. Microsecond had that inside position with Joel Rosario and was nowhere near the front.
Well, he got left. You had Microsecond getting completely left. You had
Kentucky Pharaoh
dumping
Kendrick.
the rider, and there are potential speeds in here. And the 7 Desert Peace aggressively ridden. I'm not sure why Luis Saez was so eager to give it up on Journeyman, who seemed to have fallen onto the lead, ended up in a little bit of traffic. These are races that are dominating up front. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe those fractions. I don't believe anything about that. These mile and eighth races, maybe they're true, but I want to look at Trackus, because you really think they went 25 the third quarter in this race? I don't buy it, Greg.
Hard Love, 3 for 4 now. Son of Kitten's Joy, Familiar Silks, Jonathan Thomas, Robert LaPenta. We remember Catholic Boy, who eventually
remember him fondly.
wound up winning the Travers as a 3-year-old.
And the Belmont Derby.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle. What a day of racing this was.
He's going to be tough in that spot, isn't he? This was a really good group of older horses he beat. And again, he's only made a few starts in his career.
This is
Meanwhile, the day that could have been for Irad Ortiz Jr., we're all wishing him a very speedy recovery. He's going to be out a couple of weeks. But look at the winners that could have been on his resume today.
Yep. But you know what? The most important thing, and I know you agree with this, is that he's okay.
No question.
And he's going to be back in a couple of weeks, and that is the single most important thing. I'm sure it's tough. It didn't hurt to see his brother riding 3 of them. And I'm sure he was very happy to see Jose get those 2 wins in grade 1s. And I'm sure it's frustrating for him as well. But it could have been a lot worse, and he'll be back soon, and we look forward to it.
Get well soon. Again, about 2 weeks. That X-ray scan, it came back clean, as his brother tweeted out. And just amazing. I believe 4 of the first 5 winners were mounts that he was supposed to have.
Yep.
Unreal.
Yeah, no question about it. But he'll be back, and looking forward to Irad coming back. And obviously, a day like today, we love racing. But a day like today is just another reminder of why we love racing. An incredible day of racing, and a day that really lived up to the billing.
Yeah, and this one to close it out, again, sort of a precursor to what's to come. Still one of the big days we have at this meet ahead.
And also, I want to say, today was a record-setting handle day for a non-Belmont Stakes, Triple Crown try on Belmont Stakes Day. And that doesn't happen without you guys. It's got nothing to do with us, without the great support we get from our fans.
No
and
question.
I can't thank you enough for the support you show us and that you show the New York Racing Association as well. And you don't get those kind of numbers unless you have a lot of support. So thanks a lot to all the fans out there and the bettors, of course.
Well said. Let's check in downstairs for an update on Kendrick Carmouche. Let's go to Mig.
Yeah, Greg, just unfortunate. An incredibly beautiful day of racing, marred by Kendrick being unseated by Kentucky Pharaoh at the break. Kentucky Pharaoh apprehended and seemed 100% coming back to be unsaddled after the outrider caught him. Kendrick was carried off of the racetrack and loaded into an ambulance. He was talking, he was moving everything. I can't speculate on what injuries he might have, but honestly, he seemed more mad than anything else. So hopefully it'll be good news about Kendrick and nothing too serious.
All right, we will hope for the best. Good initial signs. We all love Kendrick out here. He's great for the game, always such a positive attitude, and got to participate in his first classics this year.
And if he would play the Grateful Dead when he does his morning workout by our set, I'd like him even more. He's a wonderful man, and we hope he's okay.
Music was a little too loud for Andy one morning as Kendrick was working out.
I'm a very sensitive guy.
What was the song he was playing?
Seriously, dude?
Nothing you knew.
It wasn't Scarlet Begonias.
We are back tomorrow, believe it or not, as we have one more day of this Belmont Stakes week. The Jersey Girl is going to be the feature tomorrow.
Good field, salty field. Miss Brazil scratched for it, but salty.
Yeah, a race that gave Todd Pletcher his first graded stakes win in New York back in 1998. We're going to see Miss Brazil in that race. There's the prices.
The mystery horse was third. The 1A.
Thank you.
He's a mystery. Value
Dead
engineering.
heat for third there.
What a failure of a day for Klarovich Stables losing the last race. So disappointing.
And even in defeat, wow, Charlie Appleby had a pretty nice day,
yes,
didn't he?
Yes, he did. He came loaded for bear.
Completed the exacta in the Just a Game. Runner-up finish here in the nightcap. Mike Smith helping out the cause. We will see it tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time. What a sunset that is. So great to have fans back in the stands at the Belmont Stakes. They were so loud coming down the stretch. It really did feel like there were about 50 or 60,000 here with the roar of that crowd in that stretch run. Essential quality, standing tall with a brilliant performance. Hot Rod Charlie as well in defeat was sensational. We will see it tomorrow 12:30 Eastern Time on Fox Sports 2.